Tanushree Ganguly, when it comes to Delhi and the cause of the pollution all around us, is it essentially at this time of the year linked to stubble burning, or is that what we like to tell ourselves in the process, looking away from other sources of pollution which are fairly horrific?
It's a little bit of both, Vishnu. So if you look at this situation right now, yes, a significant contribution is really coming from stubble burning. Between 20 to 30% is coming from stubble burning. But what's important to understand here is that this 20 to 30% contribution lasts only for 7 to 10 days, even within the winter period. So when we start analyzing data on air quality and source contributions to Delhi's deteriorating air quality during winters, we look at the period between October and January. Within this period also, the relative contribution of different sources contributing to Delhi's pollution levels changes. So this period, which is, second half of October to early November, is when it's dominated by stubble burning. Beyond that, other sources kick in. What's important to understand here, though, is that a significant contribution to Delhi's pollution, believe it or not, comes from sources which are outside Delhi's limits. So 60% of pollution is the pollution that Delhi generates for itself, and 40% comes from outside. And when I say outside, it's not only stubble burning. It comes from the districts which are bordering Delhi. That's what, multiple models have pointed to, whether it's the air quality early warning system or whether it's the other privately run modeling endeavors. And these sources outside range from industries, brick-ins, to even, peri-urban rural areas, which are now going to rely on firewood or dry leaves for their space heating needs. So it's a combination of sources which impacts air pollution in this region.
Tanushree, isn't it really odd that we've known this for the last decade? What you're saying isn't new at all, and yet we're still over here discussing this. And I think that is the bizarre part of everything. The science is absolutely clear. It's been clear for the longest time. You didn't need to be a rocket scientist to know that this air pollution at PM 2.5 levels of 400 is killing you. And yet here we are.
It's the most disappointing part. It's the most disappointing part, Vishnu, and I absolutely agree. I just want to make one point. What we need to understand right now is that the amount of load in the atmosphere in summers versus the same amount of load in winters has more catastrophic impacts. And this is the most critical element. So while we can get away with a certain amount of load in the atmosphere during summers,
we can't get away with it
that's
now.
not possible because of how bad the meteorological condition gets. Yeah. And that's why every possible step to cut down emissions from every possible source has to be taken, particularly during this time of the year.